Well, we're back. It's night 13. Tonight, well, first of all, please take note of my Hudson blanket. I brought this all the way back from Canada because I really like the stripes on it. I'm a big Hudson Bay fan, and it's a great little blanket. So there's a little plug for the Hudson Bay Company in Canada. Now, this is Gentleman Jack. I've never noticed on the bottle it says double mellowed Tennessee whiskey. I mean, I know it's Tennessee whiskey, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Little Gentleman Jack. Can't go wrong with Little Gentleman Jack. And I like this bottle better than the traditional bottle. I know a lot of people probably won't agree with me, and that's okay. We're going back to Tanya Tucker's Nickel Dreams. That's what she named her book. Nickel Dreams, My Life, with Patsy Bale Cox. I don't think I ever gave that lady a shout out. She's the co-writer. Okay, here's my back page that's fallen off. When people talk about child stars and how they're robbed of their youth, I think two things. First, I'm reminded of my daddy's so-called childhood. If anybody got cheated out of being a kid, he did, along with a hell of a lot of other Depression-era children. I would agree with that. But I also think some of my friends from back then, and I think I had a pretty typical childhood up until my teens. I'm sure I never felt like I was missing out on anything. Elmo and Joanne Morris were two of my folks' best friends in Wilcox, and their daughter Cindy and I were practically joined at the hip, especially during the summers when we were at the swimming pool from the minute it opened to the time it closed. We even had the Hong Kong flu together. Wow. One of my favorite memories of Cindy and me in those early days in Wilcox is the Halloween she dyed her entire body with green food coloring. She was so spectacular, I can't remember what I wore this year. We'd run from house to house with our favorite Halloween chant, trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. She was green for about a week. I probably didn't think that through. Probably didn't care. Most of our games involved show business in one way or another. We'd dance around our rooms, pretending to be Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, taking turns at being Ginger. Cindy's older brothers had a little band called the Jokers, and they'd all gather at the Morris house and sing with them on Sunday nights. Cindy and I went to Wilcox Elementary. There was a rule against going back into the school during recess, and that rule inadvertently caused me to get the closest thing to music training I ever had. One day during our first grade, my mother needed to pick me up early from school. When she drove up during the recess, I ran in to get my lunch pail. Just when I rounded the corner, one of the second grade teachers, Mrs. Williams, grabbed me and asked what I was doing. I tried to explain Mom was waiting for me, but she wouldn't listen. She marched me back outside with her fingernails dug in my neck. Mother had also seen what happened when she saw the red marks on my neck. She went off like a firecracker. She put me in the passenger side of the car and told me to stay there. I could picture her marching across that playground, her hands planted firmly on her swinging hips. She told Miss Williams if any teacher ever grabbed me by the neck, there'd be hell to pay. Then Mom turned on her heel and marched back to the car. If you knew Juanita Tucker, you'd never expect her to get that fired up. She's one of the most gentle human beings in the world. Unless someone messes with her family, then she's one bad lady. It was in the cards that I'd get Mrs. Williams the following year. The way the school system works was that kids were divided into 3 categories: smart, average, and dumb. Well, why don't we go back to that? That clarifies everything. Just three groups. I probably would have landed in average. Math, probably dumb. I don't know if we divide it by subjects, but whew. Or maybe you'd get lucky and end up in dumb, and then if you were average, you'd seem the smartest of the dumb ones. That would be the angle I'd try to be working, downgrade myself and the expectations. It's probably not the best way to instill confidence in the kids who get stuck in the dumb classes, but it's the way it worked. Anyway, Mrs. Eikenberry and Mrs. Williams both taught the smart kids, and until I got to Mrs. Williams' class, I was considered smart. You'd be surprised how dumb I was by the time I finished 2nd grade and was promoted to 3rd. I was suddenly put into a class that was about a step ahead of special ed. What a horrible mess that whole time was. It was good training for the music business, though. I learned not to piss off the wrong person. She or he can set you back quickly if she wants to. Mrs. Kendall was my third grade teacher, and she was a wonderful woman, very patient and kind to the students. But she'd seldom call on me, and I wondered why. One day I had to stay in from recess because I'd been sick. I was sitting at my desk doing homework and looked up and saw that the teacher was staring at me. She came over and sat down at the desk to me, and she said, "Tanya, I guess you probably wonder why I skip you so much in class." I nodded my head, but I didn't say anything. I was still afraid of teachers after the previous year's experience. "Well, I don't have enough time for everyone, and you don't really need the special attention," she said. "You should have never been put in this class in the first place." I was so relieved I almost cried. The good thing about being in the dumb class was that instead of advanced reading or math, you could enroll in extra music or art. So I signed up for music. Right away, I had trouble singing with the choir, and I thought I was messing up. Singing was something I loved to do, and I believed I could do. Why did I sound so wrong with the group? Mrs. Gilbert, who taught the music, had me come in one day. Tanya, she told me, "You're the reason you're having problems singing with the melodies on some of the song is your voice is a lower register. That means you're an alto. You need to sing harmony, or we need to find songs that can be sung in your key." I hadn't had a clue that was the reason I couldn't hit high notes with something that simple, and it wasn't a problem. Okay, well, I think what we gained out of today's was that you just put kids in smart, average, or dumb and work from there. And yeah, it probably doesn't instill a lot of confidence, but if they're dumb, are they really going to know that you did that? Maybe relabel the names. Maybe don't use that word. So, all right, well, hope you guys are having fun. Hope everybody's okay. Fun if there's fun to be had. I know it's a very serious situation. My sister's hyperventilating because she has to teach math, so that's not going so well at that house. So I hope if you're having to teach, you haven't killed your own children yet. That's my wish for most of you out there, that you haven't murdered your own children, because it's going to be weird to explain when this is over when they're missing. Just saying.